everybody, and welcome to this edition of Discussing Digital. Today, I'm discussing digital marketing with Maddy Alexander-Grout. Maddy, would you like to introduce yourself and your business is plural to start with?
My plethora of businesses. First of all, Rob, thank you so much for having me on. It's a
Pleasure.
pleasure to be here. So yes, I'm Maddy and I'm a multi-potentialite. For those of you who don't know what that word means, it basically means that I do all of the things under one umbrella. And that umbrella is me. I am the personal brand and I have a lot of different products and services under me. I started my career working as a money specialist and I grew my personal brand quite quite kind of like in a large way. I kind of became an accidental influencer without even really realizing it. And I just showed up every single day talking about money tips and how I could help people. I then built an app, Mad About Money, which is an app for neurodivergents to help them with their money, with their business, with their lives. It's not just focused on money. It's basically all of the things that go into your life that make your money better. So things like well-being, business, finances, managing your money, dealing with it as a neurodivergent, like all of those different things. I trained to be a neurodiversity at work strategist, so I could help businesses to be more inclusive for their employees. But the main thing that I do is I am a visibility strategist. So I help small business owners, mainly neurodivergents, to get more visible online through digital marketing, through social media, through the press, through basically doing every single thing that they possibly can to be visible without burning out, because I've done that several times in my life.
Yes, and having looked at all your different social media channels and your website and stuff like that, you are very successful at it. So I think there's lots for us to explore around how you're using digital marketing. It's really good to hear also that you have turned that into both sort of a way of helping others as well as a way of promoting yourself as well, which fascinating stuff. So I'm probably going to should we jump straight into TikTok, which is where you kind of really sort of said, well, there's two things. One, you've got some really big engagement on there, but also you can promote a little bit of the work that you're doing there about helping others with TikTok. 'Cause I know you run a course and things like
I
that.
do, yeah. So TikTok is a massive, massive part of my marketing strategy. So I have a funnel, like all business owners should. You should have a lead funnel, and TikTok is at the top of my funnel. So I am really good at teaching people the basics of TikTok. So how to get started, how to create your profile, how to work out what best, what things to talk about, your content pillars, your hashtag strategy, like how to actually record the videos. So I run two TikTok classes every single month, and they're always free. They're the basic ones. I do have higher, better kind of bigger ones, which I do charge for. But the free TikTok classes are just everybody loves them. And they go away feeling really motivated and they go away and think, yes, I'm going to do this on this platform and it's going to be amazing. And then they realize actually sometimes they need a bit of accountability on that. So then they join my membership, which works quite nicely. And then
Excellent.
from that membership, I get my one-to-one clients, I sell strategy days, I work on like big group programs with people. And it's worked really well. And really it kind of all happened almost a bit accidentally. I did someone asked me to do a TikTok training session for them, and I got such good feedback that I started selling it. And I sold it for about 6 months. And as soon as they made the announcement that TikTok might be going in America, and therefore, if it goes in America, it might go elsewhere, um, basically my sales dropped off a cliff. And I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? Like, I need to diversify a bit. But then I thought about it. I thought, actually, do I need to diversify a bit? I'm already very diverse and I already do all of the things. I am really good on all social media platforms. So yes, TikTok is my biggest, but I've got 60,000 followers there. I've got 21,000 on LinkedIn. I've got combined with all my Facebook groups, probably about 30,000 on Facebook. Instagram, we don't talk about because we're not friends, me and Instagram. I've got a following there, but it's not where
Yeah.
my ideal clients hang
Yeah.
out. So I'm not there all the time. But my strategy changed, and I just thought, well, I can use this as an opportunity because people aren't going to want to pay for TikTok training, not right now, not with the uncertainty, but they still want to use it. It's still a
Yeah.
good place for them to be visible. So I thought I'll give my TikTok training workshops for free and then get people into my world. And I get probably about 400 people a week signing up to my email list.
Brilliant, which is brilliant. And you've just talked about a whole raft of different things around digital marketing, right? From having a funnel and basically a plan of how you want to feed people in, through to some of the things that a couple of other stuff. You've recognized that some platforms work better than others. So TikTok at the
Yeah,
moment is fantastic. Instagram, you're not friends with, so you don't really worry about it too much, which again, I think is really important, because one of the things that I find a lot of entrepreneurs try and do is they feel they need to be everywhere, and they end up being everywhere badly, rather than going,
exactly.
there's one, two, or maybe three platforms that really resonate. And we'll come back to
Absolutely.
email marketing as well, because people, I always think email is an unloved, one of the three key digital pillars that everyone hates or doesn't do, and is missing so much about being able to market to their existing
Yeah.
clients.
Exactly. So I had this thing last night. So I was watching the Apprentice final last night, and they were all like, "Oh yeah, let's design our brand. Let's do this. Let's do that." Not and throughout the whole series, not one time has anybody talked about their ideal client or their client avatar or like their ideal customers or who they're actually selling to. It's always been, I'm going to design this brand because I like this color, and I'm going to design this brand. And I'm like, why are these people such morons? But this is the big but. So you can't build a personal brand until you know who you're selling to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
this is basically how you work out what platforms are going to be the best platforms for you. You
yeah,
work out where your client, like you work out who your client is, what they look like, where they hang out, what they where they shop, what sort of money do they spend on things? Are they a Tesco customer, or are they a Waitrose customer? And that's how you build not only your personal brand, but your products, your product suite, your every single thing that you're offering. And you work out which platforms are good for you for what product you're selling.
yeah,
So I'm on all of the social media platforms, bar Snapchat. I mean, I'm not 20. But like I'm on LinkedIn because I've got a corporate audience. And I also use LinkedIn to shout about my achievements and the things that I'm doing over there.
mm-hmm.
I sell workshops to corporate clients, so I talk about those. But I also sell direct to small business owners for my TikTok workshop. Facebook is where my neurodivergent friends hang out because they're so used to it because it was the first ever social media platform, and neurodivergents don't always like change.
Yeah,
So most of them are on Facebook. TikTok is where I get my knowledge and my education out. And neurodivergents are absolute brain hoarders. We want to collect all the accolades and all of the information on everything. So I use that as my education platform. I repurpose stuff to Instagram.
mm-hmm.
Mainly it flops because I just don't put any effort into that platform. I'm there, I have a presence, and I think it's important to have a presence. But even if it's like you've got an Instagram account and you've got enough for a grid. So if somebody, and you update it maybe once a week, so
Yeah,
people know you've got a presence there. That's all I do.
yeah,
I'm on Threads. I love Threads. Threads is great for the neurodivergent community. Twitter I use for journalist requests for my PR. So I do have a reason and a purpose for every single one of the social media platforms. But that's what you need to think about. What is your reason and what is your purpose for being on those platforms? Because if you're just there because you think you need to be, don't be.
yeah,
If you run a crafting business, Instagram's probably your best bet, or TikTok. You're not going to need to be on LinkedIn. So that's the sort of thing that burns entrepreneurs out, is trying to be in every single place at one time, and you don't need to be.
yeah. No, I completely agree, and I love the way you've actually explained, and you can clearly explain where you are trying to target across all the different
Mm,
platforms. And I have to admit, I'm really interested that you mentioned threads because you are the first person that I've talked to doing one of these episodes, and I'm probably nearing 20 that's even mentioned threads. Because I mean, it kind of
Ah,
came out with a fanfare last year, massive growth launch, and for a lot of people, it died a death because it lacked some of the functionality people were looking at, and it just sort of
yeah.
fizzled and didn't explode, and keep going. It was more of a Google Plus than a TikTok.
Exactly. And this was the thing, like more often than not, you get people coming on threads and you're like, oh, are people still here? And you know that a platform's not really working when people have to ask if you're still there.
Yeah.
And threads launched probably about 6 weeks after we launched Mad About Money.
Mhm.
And Mad About Money is actually a social media platform in its own right, but it's a social media platform with a difference. We completely recognize that people were burned out trying to grow followings. So we made a social media platform that was all about helping people to be social, as in, getting their questions answered, somewhere that they could show up as and when they needed to, that wasn't addictive,
Right.
that wasn't full of the dopamine. Like, you come and you learn and then you can take it or leave it. You can come or go. You don't have to grow a following. There's no likes. So there's no like imposter syndrome if you go
Yeah.
and post something. We basically wanted somewhere to be all about the education and the support, and somewhere that supported neurodivergent brains, that wasn't all about the dopamine that keeps you there for hours on end. We just
Yeah.
wanted it to be like, come in, post your question, get some support, bugger off again. So that was kind of where we thought. But threads, people were coming on like after the first 2 weeks going, oh, I forgot about this. I forgot about this app. So I haven't forgotten about it. And I've actually realized that now they've got hashtags, you can only use one hashtag per post.
Right.
So it's really good for building communities of people that like the same thing as you,
Yeah.
which is great if you're trying to find your ideal customer. I post about my TikTok workshops on there. They flop like a dead horse.
Mhm.
Dead horse, dead fish,
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever. Something
What
dead.
a dead something. Um, but I post about all of my ADHD stuff and I grow a community talking about ADHD.
Wow.
Winner. Because there are lots of ADHD people there.
Interesting.
It's the same with Clubhouse. I mean, Clubhouse had an amazing time during the pandemic.
Yep.
People needed to speak to people, and it was just there. But after the pandemic, when we could go back out again, it was like, well, nobody really needs this app anymore. It's still there, as far as I'm concerned, it's still going,
Yeah.
but it's not successful because they rode the wave and they did it wrong.
Yeah.
And this is the thing with launching a business. So like when Clubhouse launched, they only launched to iPhone users. They
Hmm.
didn't launch on Android.
Yeah.
When Threads launched, they didn't have any way of categorizing content and people got bored of it really, really quickly.
Yeah.
But those are those people who have stuck around. Like I've grown from like 300 followers when I first started, because they kind of like anyone who joined who was an Instagram person automatically follows you. I've got like 1,500 followers on there now, and it's growing every day because I'm just going on. Maybe I post like twice a day. It's literally
Yeah.
just, it's like Twitter. It's like a post and run type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting platform.
Yeah, yeah, and I just think it was. I mean, when it first launched last year, I thought they had more of a plan, and I was expecting them to almost have, well, here's feature X or feature Y, and we're going to release a feature a week or something to keep it going. But it was almost like they were trying to just grab all those users from Twitter that were or X as it is now that
Yeah.
were voicing their frustration after it had been bought out. Um, and it was almost like they went too early to try
I
and
don't
grab
think
it.
they had a plan. No,
Yeah,
I don't think they had a plan at all. I still don't think they've got a plan. I think it's just a way of people being able to do things really quickly if
yeah,
they're busy, which
yeah,
really does suit a neurodivergent brain.
yeah.
But I haven't really got much from it. Like I
Right.
wouldn't say I've got any business from it. Really, for me, it's more of a personal kind of, if I've got a frustration or a win or something, I'll go and post it on there.
Yeah, yeah,
I had a post that went like semi-viral the other day. I posted something about um, how people shouldn't say everyone nowadays has got ADHD, because
yeah.
they shouldn't. It's very, very disrespectful and it's completely ignorant.
Hmm.
But I posted that and I think it got like 900 likes or something, and I was like, oh, I've gone viral on Threads. This is great. But it's not where I hang out the most of the time. So
Yeah,
the majority of the time I'm on TikTok.
yeah,
I spend more time engaging on LinkedIn than I do posting nowadays. I
Uh-huh.
think I do like 3 or 4 posts a week. Because it's not where my target audience are. My
Yeah.
target audience are mainly on Facebook and they're mainly on TikTok. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we've talked about a lot of other platforms, so perhaps we should talk a bit more about Facebook. As you say, it's a
yeah,
platform that a lot of a lot of your followers are on. And also, we before we started the recording, we were talking a bit about how you're using it to kind of create and grow a membership as well. So
yes,
let's
yeah,
talk bit more about Facebook, because it was interesting as well. The reason you said it, that actually it's been around for a long time. So neurodivergent people who are familiar with it tend to be there, which is a lot of the people that you work with. So do you want to sort of like
yeah.
expand a little bit more on
So
that?
so Facebook pages are dying a death.
Yeah,
Like they are just, I mean, I've got a Facebook page for Mad About Money. I don't really post that much on it. It's my more of a kind of an information source that has the website on it. But what I do is I grow my audience personally, and the best way that I've done that is through Facebook Reels. Instagram, weirdly, my reels tend to flop because
yeah,
I don't put that much effort into it. But this is the thing that's made me realize that my audience are on Facebook. Every reel that I do gets 1,000+ views on Facebook,
yeah.
but I put it on Instagram, it gets like 20 views, and I'm like, it's just not where my people are.
Mhm.
So I kill two birds with one stone. I post to Instagram, so it posts to Facebook. And I'm growing my personal brand by posting every single post that I do on my personal page as a public. So
Yeah,
I've got a professional profile on Facebook. Anybody who's a business owner should have a professional profile on Facebook, and I'm growing it that way. I still have my friends list, so my friends are, and I've also managed to set up a list as well for my actual friends rather than my business acquaintances who
yeah,
I'm friends with on Facebook. I have actually got like a personal kind of group. So if I post anything about my kids or I post anything about, what I'm up to at the weekend or like me being drunk in the park or whatever, like it doesn't go out to my audience. It just
yeah,
goes out to the friends. So that's from that perspective, it's really good for categorizing what kind of content you're actually doing. I do have a group. I've got several groups actually. I run the South Coast's largest parenting forum, which is crazy busy all the time. I've got 10 moderators who run it for me. I pop in every now and again just to kind of kick people's
yeah.
bums if they're not posting the right content. Um, and then I've got the Business Visibility Lounge, which is my free Facebook group where people can advertise their businesses if they want to. I've got the Money Lounge, which is all about little money tips, and that's kind of how I managed to grow the app so quickly. And then I've got my membership, which is called Invisible to Influential, which is a very, very low cost visibility membership for neurodivergent or entrepreneurs who are struggling with something. Maybe that is mental health or parenting or life, invisible conditions. It's basically aimed at people who are overwhelmed at being a business owner because of the things that are going on in their lives. And it's about simplifying visibility strategy to make people more visible one day at a time. Because that's how I did it. I just
Yeah.
showed up every single day. And I mean, basically, I'm kicking people's bums to make sure that they're being visible. But the biggest thing with that membership, and I'm going to do a tiny shameless plug here,
I
but
know.
because of
Don't be shameless about it.
no,
Plug away.
but because of my audience, I've got a really big audience. So if anybody joins my membership, it's £7 a month, and essentially you get me in your back pocket telling me hints and tips on how to improve your content. But also you get me sharing your content to my audience, which is a massive bonus. And I'm already helping people to grow their follower numbers.
Ah, fantastic. And I just love the divergence of the things you're doing.
Mm.
And again, we talked a bit about that. You said you don't have plan B, you have lots of plan A's.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you have a plan A and a plan A will always fail. So I've got several plan A's.
Yeah,
I put just as much effort into Mad About Money app, my coaching. So I do lots of one-to-one coaching, mainly neurodivergents who are struggling with their strategy, with their visibility. And then I've got my membership, and I put equal amounts of effort into all of those businesses. Um, it's it's just I think very much a neurodivergent thing that we want to take on the world.
Yeah,
The only thing that I will say to people is that I am like the Duracell bunny. I will go, 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 and then my battery will run out.
yeah,
So I have to be very, very careful when my red light starts flashing that I have to step back and I give myself a day off or I give myself a week off, give myself a little bit of time to kind of recharge. I do not work weekends
yeah.
at all anymore. Weekends are for family. I've also got an autoimmune disease, so I work very weird hours. So I
Hmm.
work from 7 in the morning until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I have a nap. Then I go and pick the kids up, spend time with my kids, do stuff that parents do with the kids, put them to bed, and then I work again for another 2 hours in the evening.
Yeah. But I think what's good about all of that as well is actually you have learnt about yourself to understand what works and what doesn't. What are the signals when you're
Yeah,
going for burnout, and you know how to react to that. Because quite often, as certainly for solopreneurs in particular, there's that whole actually if you know if things don't seem to be working, what I need to be doing is I need to be doing more of it and more of it and more of it, and actually you end
yeah,
up
and
burning out. Um,
absolutely. And you can't let the creative juices flow if
yeah,
you are close to burnout.
yeah,
So one of the things that is the biggest thing for me, if I start feeling like I can't be bothered because I love my business so
hmm,
much, if I wake up one day and I'm like, I can't be asked to do that, that is my burnout trigger.
right,
That's the thing that makes me go, right, I'm feeling despondent about the businesses that I love, and I love all of my businesses. I need to take a step back.
yeah,
Or it's the fact that like I get really tired and I get Zoom burnout. So I
hmm,
step back from Zoom meetings. Um, but it's my plan this year is to be on 100 podcasts.
yeah, yeah. I
So I
think I
am,
read that when we met, because we sort
yeah,
of we met is it inverted commas. We're actually in another Facebook group where you put a shout out, wasn't it?
yeah. So I'm basically like on a mission and I'm doing about three a week at the moment.
Uh-huh.
That's in addition to my podcast as well, because I've got a podcast, Mad About Money, which is not just about money, it's basically about people's money stories.
Yeah,
So it's all about how people have turned around kind of adverse situations and have gone on to be successful, or they've gone on to start a business from scratch when they've had nothing growing up. But I've also had people who have grown up with loads of money who have gone on to lose it all and then like had to rebuild their lives. It's really interesting. It's actually been likened to Diary of a CEO for normal people, which I'm actually 100% full on taking.
brilliant. I mean, that's nothing like there's nothing, no, not a bad thing to be compared to Stephen
No,
Bartlett, who's
no.
obviously sort of that podcast in particular is very well listened to. I think very well followed. So yeah, there's nothing, there's not a bad comparison at all, is it?
No, I mean I'm most definitely taking it.
Yeah.
But on that note as well, I met Stephen Bartlett once. In fact, that was my most viral LinkedIn post. It reached over 1 million people.
Brilliant.
I met him and I pitched him my business idea. This was
Uh-huh.
for an old business that is sadly no more. Um, but you've got to take, as an entrepreneur, you've got to take every single opportunity that is presented to you. So if you
Yeah.
go and you meet someone like him, you bloody well pitch to him. You do
Yeah.
something that is going to get you noticed. You take a picture and you put it on your social media, and it helps with visibility. I am literally the most visible person. You will see me everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like you listen to this podcast and then you'll be like, oh my God, I can't get rid of Maddie because she is everywhere. Like
Yeah. Well,
people
please make sure
manifest
you
me.
share. As long as I get some of your reflective glory, I'll be very happy.
I'll try. I'll try. This is that you could come and join my membership and I'll start sharing your posts.
Sounds good. I mean, well, there's loads. I mean, it's interesting you talk about visibility and content because that's one of the things I'm really interested in. So actually, and I'm also always open to learning. So I may well do that. I'm also going to find the link for your free TikTok
Yes, the
training
next the
course.
next one is yeah, I mean I do them every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
try and do one in the daytime and one in the evening so that people can kind of choose which one they want to do.
That's really good as well to be able to kind of consider doing it at different times because of your potential audience might be working and stuff like that. That's a good idea.
And every single training that I do is they're all an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
but they're all suitable for neurodivergence. So you can have your camera on, you can have your camera off. If you're more comfortable just listening to the audio and not watching the video, you can do that as well. But the biggest thing is that we take regular breaks throughout so that people can, we call them wiggle jiggle breaks, so that people can have a bit of a wiggle jiggle,
Oh, I
go and
love
make a
that.
cuppa, like do the thing. Like it's the worst thing as a neurodivergent entrepreneur is learning and having to sit there and watch an hour and a half thing without like getting up and moving. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
So I try and make it as inclusive as possible so that people actually like coming to my trainings. And
yeah,
after every single training, I get loads of like LinkedIn recommendations, people saying how good it was and how other people should come on. Someone like when I used to charge for it, somebody said that I should be charging 5 times more because of the amount of value that they got from it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the fact that it's free is pretty good, I think.
Yeah, yeah, but they do say, don't they, that it's it's good to put it out there. But as you also said, you've got that funnel, so you know
Yeah.
that it's actually all right. I'm going to do something really really good here, but actually, and which is free. That which will just show that
Yes.
actually pay a
Yeah.
bit more, and you get something even better. So
Yeah.
I think that's again really good to recognise that and actually have had put all that in place to
And
implement.
my aim was to grow my membership to 100 people by the end of the year. And I'm
Right.
already on 54 and it's three
Yeah,
weeks old.
yeah,
So I'm seeing it's going quite well. Like,
yeah.
it's yeah,
Okay. Well, it might be 55 soon.
hopefully.
Yeah, and hopefully we can help push it well beyond that. So no, that's really exciting. Now I am conscious of time, and we've covered a lot of grounds. Um, but I've as I said to all of my guests, I asked you all to give all my guests to give me 2 tips, one or listeners and what the viewers 2 tips really. One is a tip they should do. Right, so do this because it works it really really works for me. And then the second one is just don't do that. It's a bad idea. So let's do the what's your one good tip?
Okay, consistency is my biggest tip. I think being consistent on whatever platform you choose in whatever frequency works for you. So if you say to yourself, right, I'm going to post on LinkedIn 3 times a week, do it.
Yeah,
If you're going to post like, but do something that's manageable for you. Because once you commit to a platform and you actually commit to creating content that converts for your audience, you will start growing.
yeah,
It's about that visibility and it's about the consistency, but consistency has to be right for you.
yeah,
It's not show up every day and post 20 videos on TikTok. Don't follow the gurus, follow your own pattern.
yeah, yeah. And funny, you said that we said that before when we were recording beforehand. You've done a lot of following the gurus, and actually you realise it doesn't work
No.
for you, but you found what does work for you. And I think that's
Yeah.
a
And I think people are bored of that whole like make 7 figures, make multi 6 figures, blah blah blah. I'm like, do you know what? Just make what you need to survive and then work from there.
yeah,
And I think it's so much more realistic. And I think that's why people like me and they buy into what I do, because I'm not there going, you need to make 7 figures to be successful and to be happy. I don't make 7 figures. I probably will have my first 6 figure year this year. And
yeah,
it's going really well.
yeah,
But I don't have that like kind of bullshitty vibe of like, make £1 million in 6 weeks. It's not realistic. You have to
yeah.
do it at your own pace and realize that, what the best thing for me in business was realizing that I am not a broken and failed horse. I am a unique and awesome zebra.
Really, I
Um,
love that. I love that. Do you know what? Right, you said you're all about value and stuff like that. I asked for one tip. There's about 7 in there. Right, that's really good.
sorry.
No, no, don't apologise. I
I
think that
I am a multi-value giverer.
absolutely.
But the thing is, right, people always say, oh, how much free value should I give on my TikToks? As much as possible.
Mm.
Like I get people buying from me when I've already told them the thing, like on TikTok, they still come to me to buy the thing.
Yeah,
So like the more value you can give to people, the more likely it is that they're going to buy your stuff.
fantastic.
It's
And
another tip there.
yeah, oh, you're the person that keeps on giving, which is fantastic. So the final tip is the one that if just don't do this, it just doesn't work. Type sort of, yeah,
Do not do follow Fridays, follow trains, follow pods, any of those type of follow for follow things. They will not work for you because you are just going to be getting people following you for the sake of following you. when you get followers from your content, they are following you because they like the stuff that you're putting out there. If they follow you for any other reason other than they like you, they will not engage in your future videos, which will mean that your reach will go down. It will mean that your followers will go down. Do not follow people and engage with them if you are not interested in what they're doing, because it's just a waste and it actually is damaging to other people as well as yourself.
Brilliant. I quite agree as well. Yes, because yeah, I agree with everything you've just said there. So finally, obviously, you've just shared a load of stuff. I mean, I will share all the links that you've provided in the pre-call information. But if there's one place for people to come and find you on the internet, what is that place, and how do they find you?
So I would say the best place. I mean, again, it depends on the audience. It depends why they want to follow me. This is the thing.
Yeah.
So, if a lot of people don't have TikTok. If you don't have TikTok, follow me on Facebook or LinkedIn. Facebook is probably the best place to get me because you get me at my rawest, my realest, and like that's actually where I have like the majority of things. But follow me on any platform because you can learn more about what I'm doing in my link.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. And like I said, I'm definitely following you everywhere now. And hopefully all our viewers and listeners will as well.
Well, thanks
So
for having me.
it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being a guest.